Hi everyone, this is Granville D'Souza and you are watching Direct to Destiny. Today, I'll be talking about purpose. And why am I choosing this topic? Because first of all, I found mine very late in life. I found it about 10 years ago. And after I found my purpose, I must admit it gave me the kind of life I chose to have versus the kind of life that was given to me. So in a way, it's about designing your future. So what does a purpose look like? Today we're going to talk about the criteria of a purpose. What does it look like? Who are the stars who've had a big purpose and how it made a difference in their lives? And yet to also recognize that you don't need such a large purpose like people like Gandhi and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and so forth, right? It can be as simple as being an accountant. And it may be someone who has a passion for animals. They could have started an animal shelter. And it's all about where your energy is drawn towards. So again, it doesn't have to be something huge. You don't have to start a huge company, but as long as you know where your interest is and how long it can last and how much passion you have for that particular undertaking. So I'd like to share with you a few people whom I think have had huge sense of purpose, right? And many people know about these people. Like for example, Bill Gates' present huge purpose is this, that by 2035, he'd like everyone in the world to have access to computers, to vaccines, and to education. We look at someone like Gandhi. Of course, Gandhi is no more alive, but his purpose was to lead India against the British in a bloodless coup, and that was really to liberate India. If you look at someone like, say, Jack Ma, that's to create a greener, more equal, and sustainable world. If we look at someone like Mother Teresa, her big purpose was to give love and care to the people who are most ignored in the world, the people who are abandoned. So these are large. And of course, if you think about these people's purpose, it might intimidate you. It might make you feel like, okay, is whatever I am passionate about enough? And it's not about what's enough. It's about what draws you towards something that will last and it makes a difference. So talk about a criteria for purpose. One, I think, does it extend beyond your lifetime or does it last throughout your lifetime? Because if it doesn't, then it's just basically an act, an undertaking that sometimes could end within a week. It could be a year, it could be 2 years. Then what happens after that? Does it make you feel passionate and excited to give all your energy and commitment and love towards it? Another important criteria is it making a difference in other people's lives? Because if it is making a difference in other people's lives, then it is also easier to get other people involved in this whole undertaking. I do believe, of course, if you are working as a soloist, if you are making a difference to your life, then you can do this anytime. It can happen next week, it can happen tomorrow. It's all meant for just yourself. So one's purpose should be outwardly focused, right? Not inwardly focused, because it is not meant for yourself to just benefit. How do you know if you're living your purpose? I think sometimes you can actually tell when you wake up in the morning. So if you wake up in the morning and you're sort of looking forward to waking up in the morning, how many of you look forward to waking up in the morning? And when you do you tell yourself, yes, I'm just looking forward to starting the first thing that comes on my plate? Sometimes it is about checking your phone. And when you check your phone, you're just looking forward to certain projects. You're looking forward to the first action you're going to take in the morning. Sometimes it could be about looking forward to having a meeting with someone about this undertaking. So a lot of it is about enthusiasm and excitement. Another good test is when you wake up and you tell yourself, oh no, I've just got 16 hours. If time passes really fast, I think you're on the right track. If time is dragging and you're counting the hours, so for example, you start your breakfast and you tell yourself, oh no, it's like 3 hours away till I have my lunch. And after lunch, you look at your watch and you say, oh dear, I'm just looking forward to tea break. I'm looking forward to the breaks. If you're looking forward to the breaks, then quite likely you're trying to take as many pauses and it's not really giving you the kind of excitement, energy and commitment to throw yourself fully into this undertaking. Many years ago, when I first started doing training, I remember I started training something which I was totally disinterested in. And that lasted about 4 or 5 years until I finally found something which I thought would help me make a difference in other people's lives. And when that happened, every moment I had was just very valuable. And many years later, which is now probably after, 10 years after I found my purpose, every single moment seems to be something I value. Lately, I've been meeting many people who are purposeless. And what does it look like when you're purposeless? When one is purposeless, time drags. It just feels like there's an unending story throughout the day. You're not looking forward to tomorrow. You're not looking forward to the next day. In fact, you almost don't look forward to anything. It's just like time controls you as opposed to the other way around. And because I'm meeting so many people who are quite purposeless, in fact, some people look as though they are purposeful, but they don't seem to be enjoying what they're doing. And what it looks like is they may enjoy some tasks, but in the overall scheme of things, they can't find this compass that allows them to see what's ahead of them. And since I'm meeting many people who are quite unsure about what their purpose is, I thought maybe I would share with them a set of questions which could help them find their purpose and ask a lot more questions and introspect into what potentially could be something they could be passionate about and how they could make that into their lifelong direction. So first question you could ask yourself is, if money or time did not matter to you, how would you choose to make a difference, right? How would it benefit other people, right? Third one you could ask yourself is, how good are you at it? Because if you're not good at it and if you don't love it, then imagine how much of time and commitment and passion you would have to actually make it last. Who do you serve? So that's important. Sometimes we just do something and we realize, whatever I can do and whoever needs my help, just come forward. But sometimes you need to know what you're good at and who exactly will benefit from it. Why do you really want to do it, right? I think sometimes when we ask our whys, and it's important to come up with 5 different whys. When you're clear about your whys, it increases the motivation and the inspirational level, right? So find your whys. How, if supposing you knew what the whys were, how would you choose to start it, or how would you choose to execute it? So know your strategy as well. What are 5 ways I can go about executing or doing this purpose? If my whole day was consumed, would it excite me? So you have to ask yourself, if supposing you had to be involved doing this the whole day, what would your day look like? If it's going to be a drag, if you feel you're going to suffer, if you feel like, this is something you have to do, it does not look like a purpose. So again, ask yourself, if you had to be a whole day involved, like maybe sometimes a whole week, because if you look at a typical purpose, it's going to last a whole lifetime, right? And if it does take your whole lifetime, I think it's important you ask yourself first, what does it look like if I had to spend 24 hours a day doing this? Of course. Now, are you energized thinking about this purpose? So just this thought of it, if it energizes you, if it creates some kind of uplifting emotions, I think you are on to the right track. I live in Singapore, and in Singapore, people always want shortcuts. So I thought, based on the kinds of questions I shared with you just now, some people would say, wow, those are a lot of questions. Can you give me just 4 questions? All right. So I'm just going to give you 4 questions that will help you articulate that purpose, right? So hope this helps you. And this will include an example in my life, all right? So first question is, what do you do, right? As simple as that. What do you do? So what I do is I help people to resolve their shortcomings so that they can live their highest intentions, all right? So that's really my job. Now, secondly, why do you do it, right? So why do you do it? Again, I'm going to emphasize the importance of the whys. When you resolve your whys and you know why you do what you do, you wake up with a kind of strong energy, with a kind of excitement. So why do I do what I do? Well, it brings me joy to help me notice that I've elevated someone else's performance to do things much better than before or much better than yesterday. I notice in my work, whenever I help someone overcome something, I become much better at probably overcoming the same thing. So in teaching, I'm learning, and when I learn, I can always repeat or replicate the same kinds of teachings that I've done with someone else, even if it's possibly the first time. Because just by intuition, a lot of the wisdom comes within. The next question is, who do you serve? I think it's extremely important to know who you serve. Like I say, it can be quite a lot of different people, but if you specifically know who are the people you can be your best and do your best with, I think it becomes a lot more targeted and becomes a lot clearer about your true signature strength. And the last question you could ask yourself is, how do you do it? Now, the hows, of course, you can have a whole list of hows, but just know what are the 3 best actions you do consistently so well. So in my case, I use quite a few different diagnostic tools. I use psychological tools, I use 180-degree tools, I use 360-degree tools. At the same time, I've got certain therapies which I consistently use. So if I put my best pieces together, I know that I could get consistent results. So that's really how I do it. So again, if I were to just summarize, what are the 4 simple questions? Ask yourself, so what do I do? Simple as that, right? What do I do? Why do I do it? Try to accumulate at least 5 of your whys. And remember, think hard about this. There's no hurry in trying to get your whys. Just spend a few days. Even if you have to journal it, just try and think as hard as possible. Why are you really doing this for? who do you do this for, right? Who are the targeted people whom you think you can do your best job for? And last but not least, how do you do it? What are the top strategies you use to get consistent results? With that, this is Direct Your Destiny. I hope you enjoyed this session about purpose.